In July 1847, Wuthering Heights and Anne's novel Agnes Grey were accepted for publication. But there were delays. Charlotte's first novel was rejected. Undeterred, she wrote another. Its name was Jane Eyre, and it would cause a sensation. Jane Eyre is the story of a plucky governess who is very much like its author, Charlotte Bronte. Jane is on the verge of marrying the handsome, charismatic Lord Rochester, when she finds he already has a wife, insane and locked in the attic.
Marriage cannot go on.
It was a transformation of Charlotte's obsession. Monsieur Heger made into English nobility, and his inconvenient wife turned into a lunatic.
I hate you! I hate
you! Jane Eyre was the first Bronte novel published, and it was an immediate, huge success. Emily's publisher took advantage of the notoriety and rushed Wuthering Heights into print. Confusion reigned in the gossipy world of English literature. Who were the mysterious Bells? Emily hated the controversy, the threat to her privacy. Then came the reviews. Emily read every single one, and they were scathing.
Wuthering Heights is a disagreeable story.
The whole tone of the book smacks of lowness.
How a human being could have attempted such a book without committing suicide is a mystery.
The critics didn't like the amorality of the whole novel, because unlike every other novel that was being written at the time, including Charlotte and Anne's, Wuthering Heights is totally amoral. There is never any punishment for anything that anybody's done.
Read now, Emily's lack of judgment on her character seems modern. The ending of Wuthering Heights is even optimistic. Young Catherine's husband has died. She has begun to teach Hareton, her other cousin, to read. Love blossoms. From all the pain, there is finally joy. If there was hope at Wuthering Heights, there was little now at the parsonage. Branwell drew himself being hung, and alcohol was taking over. He sent a desperate note to an old friend.
Dear John, I shall feel very much obliged to you if you can contrive to get me 5 pence worth of gin in a proper measure. I could perhaps take it from you at the lane top. I anxiously ask the favour because I know the good it will do me.
He actually sets his bed on fire, because it's so easy to do when you've got candles by bed curtains. And he was drunk, so he knocked his candle over and set his bed alight. And it was Emily, ever the practical Emily, who came along and threw a jug of water over it and put it out.
Emily took charge of caring for Branwell. He was moved into his father's bedroom. Charlotte, Branwell's partner in Angria, had stopped speaking to him. The family was ripped apart, and Emily seemed to draw more and more within herself, especially losing touch with Charlotte. But Wuthering Heights was beginning to sell. Emily had found a loyal audience. In June 1848, a scandalized reviewer wrote,
"If we did not know that this book had been read by thousands of young ladies in the country, we should esteem it our first duty to caution them against it."
A month later, Anne and Charlotte traveled to London to reveal their true identities to the publishers. But Emily insisted on remaining anonymous. Infatuated with George Smith, her handsome young publisher, Charlotte let Emily's identity slip. Emily was furious. She withdrew even further into herself.
The future predicted.
In September, Branwell's body gave out. At the funeral, Emily caught a chill. She developed tuberculosis. Emily insisted on living her life as usual. Charlotte was in despair.
She is a real stoic in illness. She neither seeks nor will accept sympathy. To put any question, to offer any aid, is to annoy. She will not yield a step before pain or sickness.
Heathcliff had responded to illness in the same way, with indifference.
I have to remind myself to breathe. Almost to remind my heart to beat. I have a single wish, and my whole being is yearning to attain it. And I've yearned so long and so unwaveringly that I'm convinced it will be reached. And soon. Because it's devoured my existence. Oh God, it is a long fight, and I wish it was over.
Like Heathcliff, Emily refused to see a doctor. On December 18, 1848, she finally relented enough to lie down on a sofa. Her last audible words were,
If you'll send for a doctor, I'll see him now.
By the time the doctor arrived, Emily Bronte was gone. In Heathcliff's death, Emily had anticipated her own. An enigma to all who knew her, Emily's readers understood her perfectly. Wuthering Heights would become one of the most popular books of all time. In 1939, a movie version turned a relative unknown, Laurence Olivier, into a star.
Shoot and you'll be master here again. The whole country will resound with your courage, Henry. Go on! Shoot, you puling chicken of a man with not the blood in your veins to give your hand.
Wuthering Heights had become a timeless film, and the myth of Emily continued to grow. Her career had been like a brilliant flash of light. A slim volume of exceptional poems. A classic novel. It was enough to establish Emily Bronte as a great writer. But people still wondered where Emily could have found the inspiration for Heathcliff. Because she was a woman, they ignored the obvious. A dark, passionate, willful outsider, Heathcliff was very much like the author. In Heathcliff, Emily Bronte was recreating herself.